I'll be going over the trend line cheat sheet, how to draw trend lines. You want to make sure if and when you do use these, you make sure you're doing it properly. And you always want to start on the highest time frame that you can see the trend, whether it's the monthly, the weekly, daily. I would use one of those three to draw your trend lines, and make sure, because the higher the time frame, the stronger the trend. That's very important, right? The higher the time frame, the stronger the trend. So that's why it's recommended to draw trend lines on the highest time frame possible. It's very important that you use caution when you draw trend lines on the lower time frames, because we all know the lower time frames can be used as liquidity for the higher time frames. So let's make sure we exercise caution when it comes to that. Okay. And when you are connecting the trend line from A to C, make sure you are connecting the wicks of the candles whose bodies have made the higher highs, right? You want to make sure that the body itself is making that higher high or lower low rather than the wick itself. So in this instance, let's say the wick is here and then this wick is right here, but the body is still higher than the previous bodies, right? So you want to make sure you're following the body candles. One tip to use is to use the line chart. The line chart only shows you the bodies of the candles. So that's a good trick as well to draw the trend lines. And look, for example, the bullish trends have a low right here, a high at B, C is a higher low, D is a higher high, and you're basing it on the bodies of the candles, right? You are connecting it via the wicks, but make sure the bodies are the ones that are actually making the higher highs and higher lows, and vice versa for the sells. Please read this, screenshot this, and you want to go ahead and practice this and back test on your own charts. I do have US 30 pulled up here as well, just to give you some examples. Let's just say for this instance, let's go. Yeah, I guess we're on the daily chart. Let's use the daily. Let's check out the monthly real quick. What does a monthly look like? All right, you can still see it on the monthly. Excuse all this, but yes, you can definitely see the trend, right? We're making higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs, higher lows, right? Higher highs right here, higher low, but we're using the body, right? The body made the higher low. The wick as well, don't get me wrong, but we're really looking at the body of the candle, which is the higher low here, higher high, higher low, and then so on and so forth. So once you get your trend line, let's say you want to connect starting from the very beginning, you're using the wicks, right? This wick here is connecting to this wick, right? But the reason why we're using this one is because this body candle has made a higher high. So that's a legit trend right there. That's a legit trend. You want to make sure the trend has a high point, for a low point, a high point, and then a higher low, and then a higher high. That's your ABCD, right? Please play with this. It's very basic, but it takes some time, like reading the terminology and whatnot. It can be a little confusing, so you have to literally sit on your computer and draw it at the same time as you're reading it, just to make it make sense. But you want to make sure that because we connected the trend line from this low to this low here made a higher high, right? And then vice versa for the sells. That's a legit trend. If you wanted to connect it, let's say here, maybe in the past that worked, but as we see here, as time goes on, it's no longer valid because these wicks are peeking through the trend line. So you want to go ahead and adjust it to this one. And then once that got hit right there, this trend line got swept with the pandemic. Now you want to go ahead and adjust it here. Okay. And you can also draw other trend lines as well. You can use this wick going to here. That's another one that's a very sharp, strong trend. Very, very bullish. Right. So that's another version as well. So you can use that. But that's essentially how you draw a trend line. Nothing too crazy, nothing too like out of the ordinary. Just want to make sure you guys are drawing them properly. Again, I hope you did get a screenshot. And yeah, it's super solid. If you guys have more questions, you want to dive deeper, again, go ahead and book a one-on-one. Ask me in the chat, ask me in the comments. We can go deeper into this on a live call. You can make more videos on this. But yeah, I hope you guys got some value out of this.